what we're trying to assess here is the Otham term that relates potentially to the word that we now know as Cibola. And Tony Burrell and Felicia Nunez worked out what word Cibola might derive from in Otham and its meaning. So Tony's going to go ahead and say it here a couple of times and its meaning. And then we'll also spell it, okay? Tony Burrell, who is a Wakatham community member and elder, and he speaks the language fluently. He and Felicia Nunez, also a community member, have assessed what the word Cibola might mean in the Otham language and the dialect of the of one of the groups, if not all of the groups that occupied Otham territory at that time. And that the word, in fact, might have derived from the Coronado expedition people, including Estevan and Marcos de Niza, speaking to the Otham on their way north and obtaining that word as a place name for Zuni. So Tony is going to say the word a couple of times in Otham, and then he is going to tell you the meaning, and then he'll say the word again.
Siwulogi, Cibola, meaning dust devil or whirlwind. Siwulogi.
From the text you sent to me, Siwulogi, and that's in Otham.
Yeah, Siwulogi, yeah.
Cibola, the way the Otham would pronounce it would be Siwulogi, which means dust devil. We would kind of relate to that to people like people that aren't like they're always moving. There's like they just can't stand around. They'll be doing one thing here and then move to another thing they're working on or doing, and they just keep moving around. So it would be like a dust devil, which when it is on the ground, it just moves around and goes at different locations. There's no specific direction that it will go. It just either goes right, left in a circle, or and that's how we would think of people that do the same thing.
So one of the things that we were talking about is that the reason the Otham might have called the people at Zuni that is because at one point in their history, they dispersed throughout Southeast Arizona and other places, and then they retracted into the place that they occupy now, and that could be what that references, or that they were traders and moved around a lot that way and kind of flitted around.
Yeah, that could be it. Yeah.
The other thing that we discussed with regard to this is that in the Wakatham dialect, that would have been the dialect deriving from the Sibipri Otham that would have occupied the area that of southeastern Arizona. You say the word Cibola with a W, whereas people further west on the Tohono O'odham Nation and up north use the letter V. Given that the Spanish didn't have the W, they would have substituted the B for that W sound.
Yes, like they did with Bach.
One of the examples about the Spaniards not using the V or the V or the W sound is here at our community. We call walk, and out west at the main reservation, the Otham out there would call it Vok with the V, and the Spaniards use Bach. So it's Sanavir del Bac. But we've changed that now. We at the mission church, it now has WAK, WAK.
And what we see in the documents is that when Fray Marcos de Niza was in the approximate area of Sonora in Sonora, Mexico, was when he first heard the term Cibola. And people told him that they had been there and they knew about Cibola. What we're told also later in later accounts is that this area that he was in, or generally in, was the same. The people had the same habits and customs and so on, all the way from there over to Chilticali, which we now know is on the San Pedro, where the Savipriatam lived. And we know that Suya's in between there. And they were also Savipri and Otham and spoke the Otham language. And so basically, from where Fray Marcos first heard that term all the way to the San Pedro Valley, to Chilticali, they spoke the same language. And as a result, we think that when he first heard the term Siwula or Cibola, he was hearing that from Otham language speakers. And they also encountered people they called pintados, which is consistent with your ancestors being called the spotted people, right? So there's a high likelihood that Fray Marcos de Niza, Estevan, and others heard the name of Zuni from your ancestors who were trying to describe their name for the people up there or the place as whirlwind.
Okay.
And once again, say that term a couple of times.
Siwulogi. Siwulogi.
Great. Perfect. I think that sounds pretty darn close. And we know that the Spaniards were using a lot of indigenous terms for places in the area. So there's no reason to think that this is not an Otham word for this.
Yeah. Yes.
Cool. Well, that's interesting. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you.
Do you have anything else you want to say about that?
No, it's just like you mentioned that, a lot of words that were translated, I guess, from Otham to Spanish, kind of throws us off, like I was mentioning Sanavir del Bac. It's supposed to be WAK and Sabipri, which is Sawboard. So it takes a little time to think about that.
Yes, with the V's and the B's actually starting out in your the dialect of your language being a W in this part of the area that you currently occupy and that your ancestors occupied, including further east and south too.
Yes.
Yeah, very interesting. Very important, I think. So excellent.
Okay, great.
Hey, thank you.
Okay, get some rest.
I will. Okay, bye-bye.
Okay, talk to you later. Okay, bye.